So today's issue is a guitar case repair, which I'm fairly certain is going to be quite awkward. Let me show you. So effectively the plastic handle has just come away. It's just snapped, and that's not going to be sitting on there or holding that case anymore. To be fair, it has lasted nearly 20 years, so I suppose it's done pretty well, considering all it is a simple plastic handle. So my plan is to try and replace this as best I can with what tools I have. So I've purchased a new handle from Thomann. This is possibly somewhat overkill actually for the purpose of it. The first problem, I guess, is I need to get this off, which means getting these out. So I need to get into or behind this lining, which I think I'm going to need some sort of tool to try and prise apart. So I have no real experience with this, so what I'm just trying to do is use basically a wallpaper stripper to just carefully get the padding off the side of the case, which seems to be using a very good glue. So big problem number one, I don't know if this can be seen in the video, but possibly not. The back of this fixing is basically just spread all round, so if I punch that through, that's just going to punch a really big hole in the wood, which I don't really want to do. Okay, so what I'm attempting is, with those big back ends, I'm actually just trying to crush them with a pair of pliers as much as I can. They are fairly soft actually, so trying to crush them enough so that they'll just push back through without doing too much damage to the wood. This isn't the most elegant solution to the problem, I'm sure, but I'm no expert and I've only limited tools. I think it's working. Gently tease that out from the other side. Okay, so you can see what I'm talking about there. That head was completely spread out, and that's what holds the fixing in there. So I've literally just crushed it. Can I get it in focus? Literally just crushed it back into position, back straight as much as I could. So I guess I do that on the other four now. Okay, I'm pretty glad I did that actually. Even with the crushing that I managed to do, you can see I couldn't get them quite narrow, and that's I can't know where are the holes. That did tear a little bit, but considering how large they've been, I think that would have done considerably more damage if I'd just tried to punch those out as they were. So I think that was worthwhile. So I guess we're going to need some wood filler or something in there, just to cover those up. There will also be, you can see where the handle was, I also will need to patch over the vinyl with something. So yes, some wood filler in the holes, and then hopefully just get some maybe double-sided tape or some suitable glue to fix that back on there. Let's have a look at these fixings, because I did notice with these the screws are particularly long, so those are going to need cutting down to size. That's quite a beefy fixing for this side. Next up, I'm just going to mark the position of where I want the handle, pretty much where it was before. Obviously it's not fitting it's a different fixing, so it's not going to fit the same holes, and just use a Sharpie here to mark where those are. So the screws for the fixings for the handle, these are M4, so I'd normally use a 3.5mm drill bit. But thinking ahead, it's going to be pushing into this. Now that is actually going to grip and pull into the wood there. So I think I'm going to use a 4.5mm drill bit to allow for that. Okay, so having said a 4.5mm to allow for the fixing, oh, it's noisy. To allow for the fixing, I've ended up having to go to a 5mm just to make sure it does go through. Create the holes. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually screw the handles on, screw the handle on rather. These fixings clearly bite into the wood behind and draw it tight. What I think is going to happen though is that we're going to have a lot of excess screw on the other side. So what I'm going to do is fit it, mark how much that has come through, and then I'm going to have to take the screws out and effectively just saw them off. Otherwise they're going to be poking out through here and possibly scraping the guitar, which we do not want. Just checking that I have the handle the right way around. When it arrived flat. But you can see there's a join in the leather here, so we'll make that the inside. Okay, so hopefully that's going to draw through now and bite. Okay, let me show you that. That's exactly what we want. Fixings pulled into the wood. It's tight on the handle. Tight on the handle, and but obviously there's a lot of a lot of screw left on there, so we're going to have to trim that. But let's. I'm going to get the other the other three in, and then we'll mark those for cutting. Okay, those 4 are in. You can already see that's poking through the felt. So I'm just going to mark these again with the Sharpie. So I unscrew them all again, cut those down to size, and have a celebratory cup of tea to finish with. So just a little trick I'm using for cutting the ends off is, as I say, I don't really have all the correct tools or many tools to be doing this task. So what I'm actually doing is find sewing through screws to be an awkward affair. So I'm just putting the screw backwards through the fixing, which comes of course much further through the fixing because the handle's not fitted on there. So we've got some clearance from the side of the case, which means what I can do is have that in there and then saw, and it gives me a firmer hold. Screws are all cut to size. I'm just going to fit those back on with the handle, and that will be as much as I can do for today, but the handle should be on and working. There we have it. The screws are now flush. Okay, and the handle is secure. Job's not finished yet. I need to repair this lining and repair the holes from the previous handle. Perhaps that will be in guitar case handle repair part 2, so we can look forward to that. Catch you later.